we go. Hello, hello, hello. How has the journey been over the last week, Simona? Have you been able to do something with what we discovered, or totally nothing, or anything? Any
Um,
questions?
I have to switch for 1 second in my head because I just came out of a work meeting. But yes, I did something. I do remember, and that was the shifting with the how do we say this again? The opening the heart. So when you feel like, am I left down, right down?
Yeah. Where are you on
area?
the grid? Emotional landscape, we call that.
Yes,
Or the
exactly.
depletion to renewal grid. Yeah. Where are
Yeah.
you?
So I did notice a couple of times that I was mainly in like left bottom, and then how to get to like right up or right down again. So yeah, I've been practicing with that. So that was very helpful.
Yeah.
It's not completely new, but it's a way more easy and easy step system. And that you're way more conscious about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's easy access, and it's easy steps to take and to see what's coming up. So it's I always find it a very helpful thing.
Yeah.
And going to the heart, how was that? Just sort of landing in, was that possible for you?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and also quite quickly. Like it's not too difficult. It really helped to be like more like, oh shit, wait.
Yeah, go in. Yeah. And as I always say, if you can count to 5, and if you can breathe, you can do it. You don't have to go and you have to be in a quiet place and sit with your feet straight up and do the thing and whatever. No, can you breathe? Do it. Often I practiced in hectic situations on the toilet.
Yeah, that's always a very good one. No disturbance.
No disturbance. Just go wherever you need to go, and have the space to just tap into this inner calmness.
No, it was really helpful. It's been like very hectic and weird times, so it was very good to have like a quick access tool.
Yep, that's how it works. Exactly. And that's how it's designed to have for people have access to this inner switch. So you can see also in your work where stress levels come up, or where distraction goes up, where emotions rise, how to calm the whole thing down. It's helpful. And it's all related. Like you said, it isn't really new, and the way it is phrased can be just be an easy access to the whole thing.
Yeah, and it makes you very conscious. That's the beauty of it. You're way more aware because you're thinking in this grid. At least for my brain, that's very helpful. Like
it's
to
simple.
have like a visual picture, like where am I in the grid? I love it when it's visual.
Yep. So, are you ready to have some new material to digest?
Yes.
Or do you want to start in the heart a moment to get you off the working meeting and just land here a bit?
We can, but we can also. It's
Why don't we in the Heart Ambassador calls, daily Heart calls? We will always start in the heart. So why don't we just do that for just a minute or so by drawing the attention to the area of the heart, the chest area, and breathing a bit slower and deeper than usual. Imagining the breath is flowing into the heart and out through the heart. Supporting our heart coherence by making the in-breath and out-breath even in length. While you do this, you can add in any heart frequency that gives you energy, like joy, compassion, gratitude, anything that uplifts your energy level from the heart. Let's do that for another 30 seconds. And let's add in for the last bit, a bit of compassion, self-care, and restored cells for Sophie, so she can be recovering from the heart. It's an extra bonus. Thank you. So in the heart start calls, you will hear often at the end of the calls, oh, can we send some extra heart too? And what we just did in this last bit is exactly this last bit of shift where you can radiate it out from the inner ease and from your own uplifting energies, start radiating it out for wherever it's needed. Often nowadays it's to the conflict areas or disturbed areas in the world. So there's a lot to spread out into the world. There's a lot to do. So what I will cover today is an area you will hear a lot, but what isn't too easy to access if you don't know what we're talking about. We are talking about, and you will find it if you are in the Heart Ambassador area where you have access to the courses, you will find in the graduate level 1, class 2, dimensional discernments. And what that means is there are areas how you can perceive what's going on around you. And we will speak about the areas in the words of 3D, 4D in 3 areas. They say it's lower 4th, mid 4th, or higher 4th, or 5th dimensional frequencies. I will just go over them because if you have the depletion to renewal grid, the emotional landscape grid, what really pulls you down is often a 3D perception. So I have my notes from the whole classes I gave together with Sandra Solano. So the 3D view of the world is competition, judgment. It's any opinion what pulls you down. So in the 3D world, you will see often people othering. It's your fault, it's my fault, I can't do because. There's always a reason. There is an other thing going on in the world, what makes things impossible to access. So there's a lot of reasoning. And in the courses, we go way deeper, but it's a lot going on there. And it's often identifying with what's going on. So I can't do because, and whatever reason that comes from there, there is a reason why you can't. So you're identifying with the situation as you are completely in it. So can you imagine, Simone, a situation where the whole thing is pulling you off and you can't feel because of filling the dots? Can you imagine circumstances, so you're part of the circumstances?
You mean like circumstances that then yeah, I mean, very relatable maybe for you, like I have my head which is not working right now, so this is why this and that is not working, which is sometimes the case, but a lot of times is also
a reasoning of circumstances.
Yeah.
And what you said last time, I really worry and I really feel concerned because my friends are not well.
Yeah.
And in the 3D world, that's real. That's totally real. And you can have other perspectives too. So when you identify, for example, with the very difficult situation with your friends in Israel, I can't feel well because of them. You know, you feel pulled in their circumstances. And that's all is real in the frequency, let's say it that way. So every dimension is correct within itself. So if you feel in this concerned or identified place, that's real. And there's no judgment needed, but awareness, what can lift you up. Because if you realize you're identifying completely with your body and mind and whatever in that world, so you can't ... it's limiting.
Yes.
And often when, for example, you share in your community how you feel or how your perspectives are of the Israel-Palestinian situation, you have the feeling that you're not understood. That's totally 3D. You don't feel well because they don't understand, stuff like that. That's really a 3D thing. In the rules and circumstances of the 3D. So nothing wrong, just an awareness. So when you often feel down, pull down in totally to the left side, either it's in a higher left or lower left on the grid, it's often in 3D. A real good measuring point is, are there any judgments involved?
Yeah.
Hello, traffic light going on. Yeah. And the real trap is, you can even judge yourself for feeling that way. Oh, I shouldn't feel that way because I have other perspectives that can be way more beneficial, blah, 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 blah. So you're even pulled down by pulling down in your 3D. That's all. So you will hear often when there is a situation discussed and there is a group share, oh, hey Piers, where does that put you in the dimensional world? And it took me a very long time to shout out anything what made sense because I had no idea what I was talking about. Really, no clue at all. But having the fact that you identify yourself with the situation is a measuring stick for the 3D. You're in it because of. Now, there is a trap out, and we go to the next thing, and that's the lower fourth. So if you shift up in, okay, you can just fly above it, no judgment, please, but just because you can be analyzing or really have a conceptual point of view. So if I do this, I won't have to feel that. Do you know people who do that? I can do that because I had a cause. It's just a sign. And as soon as you have a judgment about that, you're back in the 3D. Great. Okay. So there's an agenda to get things out because you have other perspectives, which is fine in itself. But if you look what it brings you on the grid, it's often not gaining you energy. Unless you're start hovering above the whole thing, like, oh yeah, I know, because I can. It's not very helpful. It's just making yourself better from others. So that's a lower frequency in the 4. And you know how you feel, but you can make yourself a victim of that as well. No, I have this course, but I can't reach it yet. No, I know how to feel different, but, and there is a but. So you also have an attachment of the outcomes. So if I don't do this enough, I didn't do enough of the grid to feel better. Well, is it? Well, probably not. The fact that you thought about the grid, great, but don't make an attachment to it. If it's enough or too much or too little, or that's an attachment to something like that. It's good to have it and not necessary. Any questions so far? Do you recognize where this goes, Simona?
Yeah, totally. Especially the part where it's the attachment to the outcome. That's my main thing I always struggle with, is too much, too little. Or you can know a lot of things, you can do a lot of things. But yeah.
It's another thing to go to the mid-fourth, and honestly, I can say I'm queen of mid-fourthing and get myself completely stuck there. Because I can see the bigger picture, great, but I overcare about it. I give too much to it. I'm losing energy on knowing what I know, have the tools I know, and somehow I'm still stuck. And then I have a judgment about it, and boop, I'm back. It's an awareness. And it's really good to dive deeper to see where it comes from. And often, in my case, it's judgment because whatever there is a judgment about, I can say last week I was really, really upset and shared that on the Heart Start call. And why was that? Because I blocked Pete's credit card. And he was so proud of his card, and it got him out of poverty, and finally got the credits to have a credit card. And in one, I popped it out. And it made me so sad. When I looked deeper, it wasn't really that I just blocked the card because it was just an action to do. I made it something. I knew I could pull myself out of it, and then I judged myself that I couldn't. Okay, totally mid-fourthing. And the whole thing, what happens around it, I'm pulling in other circumstances, for example, but no one understands, or nothing else I can do, or I just pulling other things, what I know is not beneficial, but I'm too trapped to get myself out of it. And then I value that, and that pulls me down again. So the whole thing is, if you just see how do you react or how do you respond. And mid-fourthing is the switch between reacting and responding. So reacting is having an impulse thing and then start having an action either in thoughts or verbal or whatever. You do something straight away with it. And otherwise you have responsibility. So you have the responsibility to respond in an ability what works rather than what pulls you down. So also working too hard on yourself. I have great tools. I work harder on this one, so I don't feel that. And all this working hard to fight yourself out of a situation, particularly with a brain damage. Oh, I didn't do enough of the breathing. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel that. Now, what frequency is that? 3D. I make it something about the situation. Mid-4 thing, yes, but I do have a tool. Oh, if I do it really, and no, make something from it. What really is the switch out of this analyzing or really being pulled down? It's the higher fourth. So if you go to a frequency without any attachment, so just love for the reason of love, not for the reason of an outcome. So even if I do these calls, I can say, oh, well, I really have to do them well, because then Sophie and Simone can be really having all the benefits from the Heart Start calls if I do it well. Well, maybe it's not my responsibility. Can I give all I have and send just the opportunity and let go? That's a higher fourth. So just shift up to a level where there's no attachment, just the bigger picture of what's possible. If you can go there, even with your friends in the Middle East, Simona, sending love because you can send love, because you can't solve the whole thing, but you do send love because you do send love, not with any reason, no fixing, no overcare, just having the opportunity to feed the field with what is helpful. No attachment, no agenda, just frequency that works. And that's simplifying the whole thing which we are operating in. Because there is no agenda, there's no attachment, there is no schedule, there is no yes, but what if, no, nothing. Just do it because it's your value, because it's what you're standing for. And that makes life very simple.
I love that you say this. It's like a conversation I had this weekend, I think on Friday, with a friend of mine who said, like, but why? Why would you do this or this or this? And I said, just because I can.
Just
because I think for me it's what I stand for. So why wouldn't I?
Yeah, and even that you don't have to explain. Why? Because I can.
Yeah.
So if you know your frequencies, what you stand for example, no judgment, wisdom. I stand also for compassion. So if that's the frequency I want to send, why not? I had a perfect example for my parents. So both my parents, way in their 80s, got COVID. I've always been the nurse in the family, the arranger, the taking care of everything. And now, no, because I don't have a vaccination. I don't go in. It's the highway for getting COVID myself. That's not what I'm up to. No attachment about COVID, by the way, because if I get it, I get it. But it's just stepping back, sending them true care, arrange what I can and step back and don't feel bad about it. No attachment or what I do or what I don't. So I do what I can and let go and still love them from a distance. That's all.
It's a beautiful step, no?
It's a good a practicing thing. But if I make it a good practicing thing, I'm forcing the whole thing. And if I feel bad about it, I'm 3Ding the whole thing. Just because I can. And that's higher fourth. Now, the fifth dimension is the total global shift, what we're into. So even the wars and the earth disasters can be seen as a earth shift. that needs more explanation. What you can get in the course, but you will hear the phrase fifth dimension sometimes in the heart chart calls. But these 4 areas, 3D, with a lot of judgment and attachment, lower fourth, just giving it any reason to be something, and then having the tools in mid fourth. Yeah, but I can have the tools, and it's not working right now. No, probably not. And shift to the higher fourth, where there's no attachment, just because. So you'll get them. You will get them. Any questions so far?
No, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will get them a lot, and it takes time to really tap into. And you will hear what dimension is this, and then someone will shout something, and Sheva will correct or get you a 1,000 heart ambassador points for the right answer or something like that. So, which is totally 3D, by the way, giving value to heart ambassador points. So it's just playing around with how you can be with this, and being aware what pulls you down or lifts you up. So another phrase you will hear is downslants. So downslants is everything what slams you down. Put it in my words. I remember that my son was blaming me for all the misery that happened in his life. And I felt so bad about it. So completely bad. And I knew I had tools, but I couldn't access them. So I was completely drowning in a lower fourth 3D world. And I felt I wasn't in the right spot. So when I got hold to Sheva, she gave me a task. She said, I want you to write down in the upcoming 48 hours, and by the way, I want a picture of what you wrote, 100 downslants areas. So I'm not good enough, I'm not well enough, I'm not all the things what is not enough, not working, all the things what are really, no, I can't, I've never been, but all these 3D stucking things, just write them down. 100. I can tell you, after 50, I was completely fed up. And but I promised, good girl, to do the 100. I made 100. I even have them on paper. But one of the things what really stood out for me, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That was a good one. Really helpful to get me out of the whole thing. And from the 100 downslants, when you're ready, I want I think 25 or 50 or so, I don't know. Up tilts. And up tilts are things what sparks you. What really said, oh, yay, great. What do you want? Is if everything is possible in this world, what do you like? What are you going to? Just getting up tilt. So what's uplifting your energy? Like a density dissipation. So everything was heavy and foggy and cold and wet and awful, just like a sunbeam is there, and it just creates the clarity there. So, and that's an up tilt. So downslants and up tilts you will hear as well. And another point you will hear is a hinge point. That's a pivotal moment where you reach yourself. So when I got clear that I was judging, that I was working so hard on my mid fourth and I didn't even get myself out of it. The moment I did a cut through technique, what you had last week, I cut through. Okay, is this a helpful thought? Actually not. If I go to the heart, what's more helpful to get myself out of it? And then I have a hinge point where I pivot myself out of the heaviness. And so you have a down slant, up tilt, and a hinge point to, well, like the unexpected stepping stones out of it. And having these light bulb insights helps.
I'm a light.
It's okay. So I think that are the most important areas to cover, and to see what's there. You will have a lot of depletion of renewal grids. You have a lot of the techniques I sent you last week, and then having these area of dimensional shifts where we can tap into and recognize for ourselves. I will send you both the module of the graduate 1 class 2, so you can read. When you can access, have you already access to the material, Simone, or not yet?
I have my official intake this afternoon, so because I officially start on the 1st. Tomorrow.
Perfect.
Is that tomorrow? No, the day after.
The day after.
Friday.
The day
Yeah.
after. So, and you will be joining at 5:30 in the first hard start call?
Yeah, because they're Monday to Friday, 5:30, no, our time? Yeah.
Yeah. You won't have Shava, you have a guest facilitator called Nienke. So I will
I think I know her.
Yeah, you've heard of her. Yeah, I have an opinion about her. That's 3D. So,
No opinion.
well, a good opinion, or even giving a compliment is a 3D
Also,
thing, because it's your
okay.
judgment what's good or bad.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I had to learn that anyhow. But I will be facilitating on the 1st. And just to give you the notification up front, we often welcome the newcomers on the call. So you will be given an opportunity to say hi, and the Heart Ambassadors will welcome you with the sound. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Curious.
It's yeah, that's also when someone has a birthday, we do a drunken choir. So
Yeah.
because we don't see each other, we just tap on the phone, and it's not aligned at all. So you have happy birthday in sometimes different languages or paces or tonalities. It's really a complete
drunken choir.
A drunken choir for birthdays. So yeah, so it's there. And maybe Sheva will welcome you if you join on Monday as well. And it's a members call on Monday as well, so it's good to be there. I start on the 30th, so tomorrow, the course, a 2-day course with the frequencies for peace building, particularly around the Middle East. So you will hear about that later in the calls, I'm pretty sure, because Sheva is doing that. So yeah, I think this is the most frequently used material, and just see what happens. If you don't know, it's highly appreciated that you ask a question, and just be with it. And if you have any questions, like you think, oh, you know where to find me. It's always fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else?
Well, yeah, but that's more off camera.
So if
I don't know if Sophie has something for on camera.
Well, I can say, well, if there are further questions, I can just stop the recording, and then everything is fine. Yeah, no problem. So thank you for being here.